اللهم اجعل محياي محيا محمد وآل محمد ومماتي ممات محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Shahadat and I'll be your MC for today. Without any delay, I'd like to welcome Brother Javed for the recitation of the Quran and some poetry. Please recite aloud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajahum.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا أوفوا بالعقود. أحلت لكم بهيمة الأنعام إلا ما يتلى عليكم غير محل الصيد وأنتم حرم. إن الله يحكم ما يريد. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تحلوا شعائر الله ولا الشهر الحرام لا تحلوا شعائر الله ولا الشهر الحرام ولا الهدي ولا القلائد ولا آمين ولا آمين البيت الحرام يبتغون فضلا من ربهم ورضوانا. وإذا حللتم فاصطادوا ولا يجرمنكم شنآن قوم أن صدوكم عن المسجد الحرام أن تعتدوا وتعانوا على البر والتقوى ولا تعاونوا على الإثم والعدوان واتقوا الله إن الله شديد العقاب. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. السلام عليك يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا نبي الله. السلام عليك يا أبا القاسم يا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين وابن السيد الوسيين. السلام عليك يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن أبي طالب صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين. السلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا سبتي نبي الرحمة والإمام الهدى الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة أجمعين. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء يا بنت رسول الله يا قرة عين الرسول. السلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء يا معين الضعفاء والفقراء يا سلطان يا أبا الحسن. السلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب الزمان. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان. الأمان الأمان من فتن الزمان. أجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وزهورك. السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. بر محمد أهل بيت محمد صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وآله.
Thank you for the beautiful recitation, Brother Javed. Now I'd like to welcome Maulana Sayyid Hadi Yasin to bless us with his speech. Please recite aloud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil faraj.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة لأعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى لقاء يوم الدين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر الأهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah again, brothers and sisters. May Allah inshallah accept our prayers, our amal, our du'as, our azah and mourning for Sayyid al-Shahadat and Ahl al-Bayt inshallah, and reward us for our presence tonight in this majlis. Make it dakhira for dunya wal akhirah. ببركة صلوات على محمد وعلى محمد. Night of the Shahadat of our beloved Imam, our 11th Imam, Imam Hassan Askari alayhi salatu wasalam. First and foremost, to Imam of our time, his son Imam Mahdi alayhi salatu wasalam, and to you all mu'mineen and mu'minat, inshaAllah. May Allah let us be strong in the path of our Imam, and let us be among those who follow their path by action. Indeed, inshaAllah, recite another salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Last night we talked about the time and the life of Imam Hassan Askari alayhi salatu wasalam. Very quickly, an update, continuation of what we talked last night. And inshallah, we'll go back to the topic that we had together, the topic of controlling our tongues, inshallah. Imam Hassan Askari alayhi salatu wasalam, he did few important things during his life. Maybe I will mention 3 of them that were very important and crucial at his time. Number 1, preparing the situation for the zuhur of his son Imam Mahdi alayhi salatu wasalam. We know that we had the experience that before Imam Hassan Askari, the other Imams, there were some other people who came and claimed that they are the Imam, although it was fake and they were not the Imam. So because the Imamate of Imam Mahdi was very critical, very important, and the Ghaibah would like to have, might have happened at that time, and definitely happened, it was very crucial for Imam Hassan Askari to provide the situation and Shia for knowing who is the next Imam and be prepared for that. We mentioned a little bit about it last night, that Imam, he introduced the Imam after himself through different signs. And sometimes, here's the new things that sometimes, I didn't mention last night, sometimes it was through showing the Imam Mahdi to others. There were some of these, for example, in different narrations, one of the companions, for example, came to Imam's house. He talked to Imam and he asked about who's going to be the Imam after Imam Hassan Askari. And Imam told him to wait. He went inside, he came back. He said, I saw a beautiful sun like the moon around the shoulder, sitting around the shoulder of Imam Hassan Askari. Imam should be around probably 4 or 5 at that time, Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, and Imam says, here's the Imam after me. In different occasions, different situations, Imam showed Imam Mahdi to some close Shia, close friends. Not to everyone, because we know that Bani Abbas at that time, Imam was at the time of 3 of the Khulafa of Bani Abbas. So they were looking for the Imam of Us, Imam Mahdi salam, to hurt him, to kill him, because they knew who is he, what he's going to do, and he's the Mahdi Mu'ud. And they were threatened by this news. Anyhow, that was number 1, that Imam tried to do that. The second, the Shabakeh Wakalat, the network of Wakala and the lawyers, or maybe we can say the people that Imam, he designated them to be his, through Imams, to be through, Vakil, to have the authority on behalf of Imam for after Imam, during the time of Imam alayhi salam in different locations. That was very important, very crucial, because at that time Imam could not communicate with people directly. So he was communicating with people, or people could communicate through this Vokala. So, and it was very difficult to communicate with people. As I said, there was an occasion, said one of the companions of Imam, he said, I came to Imam and Imam gave me a piece of wood, a stick. And he told me to give it to someone by the name of, for example, Nu'man, give it to him. He said, what is this piece of wood? I have to take it to someone else. What is the point of it? He said, no. Imam says, anyhow, he went, he left. In the middle of the way, before he goes, he reached that place. He, there was another person was coming, and that person was coming. He had a donkey, and then, or any animal, horse, that he was carrying water with himself. Anyhow, they got to the point that both of them are, in front of each other. Probably it's in a small area, maybe in the alleys or somewhere. It's like 2 cars, they can't pass each other. He got out of his horse or his donkey, the companion of Imam, and he hit the donkey of the other one with the stick that Imam gave him. It was like a stick, right? He hit it, the stick was broken, got, split it, broken. And then he looked at it, he says, there are some papers inside, there are some letters inside. Then he realized, wow, Imam told me to this, not just a piece of wood or stick that I have to give it to someone. Imam was hiding it. He said, I quickly wrapped it up, went back to Imam, says, what happened? You came back. He says, this is what happened. Imam says, why did you do that? If even they curse us, you should not say anything. Otherwise, they kill you. So anyhow, Imam was communicating with people through this way because it was very difficult, and the Bani Abbas were, supervising strictly the time of Imam والسلام, and they were against them. So that's the second one, that this way Imam was continuing the Shabakeh and the network of Wukala. And the third one that Imam helped a lot was to support Shia at that time. Help Shia at that time, which is number one, the responsibility of Imam Masum at each time, and specifically at that time, that Imam والسلام, he tried to do that and support them by telling them what to do and not to do, such as what I said last night, telling them, do not even say salam to me when you see me, do not come to me when you see me, because you're in danger, protecting their lives, recommending certain things to them because of the situation of that time. So, and there's a difference between Shia and we know that Muhib. The Muhib of Ahlul Bayt is the one who likes Ahlul Bayt. It can be not Shia. Shia is the one who believes in everything about Imam, such as being the successor, the true successor of Rasulullah, having the ilm al-ghayb, the position of Imam, the maqam of the Imam, the shafa'at of Imam, everything as the Salahi Shia we are. Shia is the one who accepts this. The true meaning of Shia is very more difficult. There was definitely those who follow everything, but even the Salahi, Shia is what? The one who agrees with this. We have many of the brothers and sisters from other school of thought that they love Ahlul Bayt. They are muhib of Ahlul Bayt. They are muhib of Ahlul Bayt and Imams, but they're not the Shia of Imams, because they don't believe in the Imamat of Imam, for example. They're not Shia. They're muhib. We have, for example, Nasa'i is one of the people who wrote down, the Kutub al-Sittah, 6-1. So what happened here is that he wrote a book about Imam Ali. He's not Shia. He doesn't believe in the Imamat of Imam, but we have a Christian like George Jordaq, Al-Ali Sawt al-Idalat al-Insaniyah. He wrote a book about Imam, but he's Christian. They're muhib, they love Ahlul Bayt, but they're not Shia. Although the Imam was trying to protect even muhibbeen of them, even those who love Imam, but it's specifically the Shia that Imam worked on that. So a few things about the life of Imam, the eve of the Shahadat of Imam. May Allah inshallah give us tawfiq to be among the true followers of Imam, and we pray that Imam inshallah will be included in the dua of Imam, inshallah, with the barakat of salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. We were following the topic of one of the most important recommendations of Ahlul Bayt, one of the most recommendation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is a topic of controlling our tongue, a topic of observing our words, our verbal interactions and communication with people. We talk about different aspects of it, and tonight inshallah is the last night. We'll wrap up this discussion as mentioning few practical points about how can we follow these orders by Allah and Ahlul Bayt and be able to control our tongue, our words, verbally communicate in the best way. We mentioned a few things. Number one, keep our tongue away from any bad words, any mistakes, purposely, any bad language, dirty language, all these things we mentioned. Second, no, further, we should use our tongue in a best way, beneficial way, and only when it is beneficial to be used. And the third one, about using it as a tool to communicate and convey the knowledge, the ilm, and the benefit to other people, which are the important part, inshallah, we keep in mind. There are a few points regarding number one, to control our tongue, that I would like to say. We know that we said tongue is like another name that Allah gave us, can be used positively or negatively. So it's very important for us to analyze ourselves. What happened to us when we cannot control this tongue and it's out of control? One thing is about the practical steps how to control it. One thing about sometimes it happens to you as well, I'm sure, when we are nervous, when we can have control our emotions, when in a stressful situation, we don't have control over what we say. When someone is angry, for example, doesn't have control over what they say. So before anything, make sure you calm down. Before anything, you control your emotions. You know that when you lose your emotion, control over your emotions, your stress or your anger or something, you will lose control over your tongue. So that means you need to control your emotions. You need to calm down stress. During that time, do not communicate. During that time, take a break. When you're stressed, don't communicate with people. Even tell people, give me some time, give me a break. I can't communicate right now. I need to calm down. That's the best things rather than, no, I can control myself. Let's continue. Sometimes when we're stressed or we're angry, we would like to continue. Someone says, let's not talk about it. No, let's talk about it. We have to finish it because of the anger, because of the emotions, because of the stress. We want to go and finish it. So therefore, it's important that we pay attention. During this time, we shouldn't say something that we regret later on. These are the recommendations from Ahlul, recommendation from Imam Hassan Askari, Imam Zamanaj, all of them, that they told us one of the most important ways and aspects to be successful in the path of Iman is what? And in dunya wal akhir, even from dunyavi perspective, because sometimes you say something that you ruin the relationship with others. Sometimes you talk the way that it's even business, from the business perspective, is against you. In a job that you have, it's against you. You might be fired, someone might be fired. Many times happen because they couldn't control their tongue. They got angry, they said something, anyhow. So that's number one, to do that. Second, have some strategies with yourself. Some strategies that you know how you want to take a break. Some physical strategies. Someone says, I'm going to count to 5. I want to count to 3. I want to take a walk. I want to just, somehow it depends on you and your personality and what works for you. Make sure you have a strategy. Before you talk, you think about what you talk. We mentioned before, Amir al-Mu'min ahadith, we have that they said, Aqil is the one who thinks before he or she talks, right? They think. This doesn't mean that let me sit down and think about it for a long time. It can be a few seconds. Let me get used to pause before I talk. It can be a few seconds. Let me practice it. Before I jump into answer something or jump into talk or initiate something, I should have a habit to think about it by just take a few minutes. I have some people I know that when they want to talk, they don't talk very immediately. They take their time. So that's one thing. Or you want to count more, for example. Bismillah. So this is another thing. Have any strategies that you want in order to control that. The other practical aspect is that consider the consequences of not controlling the tongue, of letting the tongue, say whatever it wants to say without being controlled. What are the consequences of that? You can ask yourselves, this can definitely hurt someone's feeling or their reputation or do something more. How would you like that happen to you? How would you feel if that happens to you? You said that words to someone, right? All right. So how would you feel if someone tells you exactly the same thing? How do you feel about it? This is something important that you pay attention and put yourself in the shoes of someone else. How do you feel if someone uses the same word? Doesn't matter who they are. To the same person that you said that, with the same tone of voice that you talked, if someone talked to you that way, how do you feel about it? Does it hurt your feelings? Bismillah. If you said this to someone, would that break their reputation in front of others, the community, the society? You posted something, verbally you said something, would that break someone's, heart? If that happens to you, how would you feel about it? How would you, consider that? If you said, no, I definitely want to take a revenge and make someone upset, then we go to the different topics that, think about it, why you then want to hurt someone. Na'udhu billah, that's very wrong. Then why you want to do it? But if it's no, I want to control it, it's just, I don't know how, think about the consequences of this that is important. Let me go to some traditions and the wayat to tell you about the consequences of not controlling maybe the punishment and not control the tongue that we have in our traditions. Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the one who talks a lot without thinking, without controlling it, this person's mistake would be a lot. He or she would increase in mistakes. And the one who increases the mistake, the one who has a lot of mistakes, their haya will go down. Their chastity will go down. SubhanAllah. It's just easy, you know. Some people, before they make mistakes, no, astaghfirullah. When they keep repeating the mistakes, you desensitize yourself towards making mistakes. The haya and chastity towards not making mistakes goes down. SubhanAllah, very beautifully. And then when that happens, the piety goes down. This person is not a pious person anymore, because piety is what? Vaqaya comes from what? The taqwa, controlling. That goes down. When the control goes down, the heart dies. You know, it goes step by step. The heart dies when there's no taqwa and control over the a'mal and aqwal. And then at the end, the hellfire is the place for this person. All has started with what? Controlling and making sure what we say. Amir al-Mu'minin said, the punishment of the tongue, if it goes wrong, is worse than the you know, injuries that are caused by the sword or spears. SubhanAllah, and that's true. Someone's tongue can be sharper than swords. When that, here's a beautiful one. One of the scholars said, you know, when the word is not coming out yet, it's still there, you are controlling it. You can control it, right? You're controlling it. Should I say it, not say it? As soon as it's out of your mouth, it's out of your control. The word is controlling you now. If it's good, it benefits you. If it's wrong, it hurts you by hurting other people, or, you know, that's very important to pay attention. And Imam says, رُبَّ كَلِمَةٍ, yeah, there's some words that takes ni'mah away from the person. A'udhu billah. There are some words that take ni'mah away, deprive person from having the ni'mah. That's another consequence of not controlling it. And that can be about anything else, anything else, such as, for example, those famous issues, such as ghaiba, right? Backbiting, talking on someone's back, just talking about it, whatever it is, it's ghaiba. The hadith says, someone who does ghaiba, of course, you know, purposely, and doesn't do tawbah, for 40 days, the dua of this person will not be mustajab, not be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For 40 days, this dua will not be accepted from this person. We have many traditions and hadiths about this. This is another consequences. Man khafa nas, the one who peoples are afraid of his or her tongue, lasani, fahuwa min ahli nar. The one who others are afraid of the tongue of this person, that person is one of the residents of the hellfire. Because one of the things about mu'min is the one others are immune from, we have hadith, immune from the tongue, lisanihi wa yadihi, and the hands. He or she doesn't do anything or doesn't say anything that hurts others. Others are immune from this too, right? So that's the consequences. Again, we have to consider and keep repeating, what is the consequences? Would I like to hear the same thing? What happens if I say that? This might hurt my iman if I repeat that, if I say that. So that's important. The other one is about, sometimes someone might say, you know, it's difficult. When I get angry, I just have to say something. I have to say something, otherwise I can't control it again. Of course, number one is that no, you have to control anything, but I want to give an advice. Think about it, but don't say it. Whatever you want to say, think about it. Don't say it. Keep it in your mind. You want to say something bad? Say it in your mind. Don't say it out loud. You want to say something bad? Type it. Don't send it. Type it. Don't email it. Write it down. Don't give it to that person. A piece of paper, right? You're so upset. You want to say something, na'uzubillah, even the bad words are going to come out. Think about it. If you really cannot control even not to think about it. Think about it. Don't say it. This is very, very beneficial. Think about it, give yourself time, but don't say it. It's going to be very, very helpful. You know, it can go hand to hand with the consequences of that, the consequences of the, you know, not controlling the tongue, and it's very beneficial to think about. All right, so let me go to, before we go to the next step or section, which is about what if I said something what I'm supposed to do. There are some other aspects we mentioned that, no, let's get used to. Yeah, the next step is that let's get used to say beneficial things, not just not to say bad things. Let's get used to use the tongue in a nice way and right way. Look at this. All Anbiya and Awliya, they came. The first things that they used to communicate with people, to bring the wahy of Allah to people, the revelation to people, is their tongue. The best part of their body was their tongue that communicated, talked to people about this. If you learn something beneficial, talk to people, communicate to people. You're sitting somewhere, make sure you benefit people by talking to them, giving them some advices, whatever it is health advice, is scientific advice, is, I don't know, whatever you know, your knowledge, your expertise, benefit people wherever you're sitting. Promise yourself wherever you go, have something beneficial, scientifically, Islamically, whatever it is, to benefit that person. It can be a friend. You're going to hang out with friends, for example. You want to be in a party, you want to be in a majlis, whatever you are, you know, okay, after dinner, after lunch, you say, by the way, I heard this, you know, when we eat, this is the benefit of that. When we, Islamically, we have to do this. One thing, get used to it. Get used to have this tongue, make this tongue get used to say something beneficial all the time. Believe me, the more you work on it to be in a positive way, the more you get away from the negative way that, yeah, وَلْيَقُولُوا قَوْلًا سَدِيدًا قَوْلًا لَيِّنًا. It's important, you know, get used to say, well, Quran says to Hazrat Musa, talk very, very softly, very nicely. I'm not talking about the tone of voice, even the words that you use. Make sure you work on what kind of words I use. I use superlative words, always, never, at all. Calm down. Don't make it so rough. A little bit down, a little bit tone comes down. Okay, we have to work on it. Allah told Hazrat Musa, you want to go talk to Fir'aun. You and Harun, your brother, you're going to go to talk to Harun, to Fir'aun, Pharaoh. Talk to him in a very soft language. It's your dignity. He's Fir'aun, but your dignity, your Musa, your Harun. Talk very nicely, very, you know, respectfully to that person. قولا بليغا, very eloquently talk. Don't mumble, very eloquently. You know, when you say someone that speeches are very eloquent, very nicely done, it says, beside the content, wow, it was, the language was very nice. So it's another thing that we keep attention. So inshallah, these are some, just, I'm giving you some templates. Inshallah, you can continue with this. Don't have too much time to go to the details of each of them. I'm just giving some examples of this, to the point that Allah Majesty ﷺ says, some of the companions of Rasulullah, because they heard this is so important, at that time, to practice the same, to get used to saying nicely or useful things, they were putting a little pebble in their mouth. Look at this. They were putting some pebbles in their mouth, and whenever they wanted to talk, these pebbles were moving, so they had to know what they're saying before they say it. Very important, right? Until they get used to it, so they don't need it anymore. Anyhow, so this was another point that we need to give attention. So what if something is said, what am I going to do? First, we talk about it, we need to control it. Second, what if, God forbid, something is said, it's not appropriate, what am I going to do? Number one, you need to recognize and acknowledge you said that. You need to tell yourself, all right, this is what I said, these are the consequences that I said. I probably broke someone's heart. I probably shouldn't have said that. Immediately, you should know, do not ignore it. Do not give yourself the right to say, no, you don't know. It was my right, you know. He did something, she did something. Don't justify it. It's not appropriate. You shouldn't have said that. Acknowledge it. Don't justify it for yourself. This is dangerous. If you justify it, it's going to come again and again and again. And, you know, of course, it's wrong. Do not justify it. Take the blame. It's my fault. I know. I shouldn't have said that, you know? All right. So that's about myself, to blame and reprimand myself. I need to do it. I need to reprimand myself. We do not reprimand others, but I need to reprimand my nafs. How difficult was it that you couldn't control it? Why you didn't think about it before? First, you know? No, you shouldn't have said that. How many times I told you to myself that you shouldn't talk this way? This is the punishment that I want to have for you. Now you want to do this and that and that. For example, whatever nazar punishment you have yourself. That's about myself. But the next step is that the rights of others, haqqun nas. I did something to others, right? I need to go and, for example, the ghaibah, who said when someone does ghaibah, they need to go and apologize and ask them to forgive them. Otherwise, it's not going to be forgiving. Okay, you ask Allah, please forgive me for ghaibah. Good job. How about that person? Allah cannot forgive the rights of others, right? So if someone steals money from someone else, he says, Ya Allah, forgive me. Okay, I'll forgive you, but first you go give the money back and ask them to forgive you. So if it's about this, I go to that person, I ask for forgiveness, and I tell them, you know, to forgive me. And by all means, whatever it takes, if they tell me to do something, I need to do it. You know? It's important to be so, you know, adamant about these things, about this haqq of others, the rights of others. Let me tell you something, story. Inshallah, you Google it, you read the full story. Muqaddasa Ardebili, Sheikh Muqaddasa Ardebili is one of the greatest Shia scholars that we have. One day in his life, they're saying that he was passing a garden in whatever city or village he was living. There was a river, he was passing next to the river, and he saw an apple. It's coming in the water, it's coming to, you know, towards the direction of the river. He grabbed the apple, and without thinking, he got a bite from it. As soon as he got a bite, it was like, whose apple was that? Whose apple was that? Do you have the permission from that? Muqaddas Ardebili is the one that they said at night when they were, at that time, they were closing the doors of the Haram of Amir al-Mu'mineen. They were locking it. When he was coming, the doors were getting open for him and he was going inside. Anyhow, he was a lot of karamat. Anyhow, so he's like, as soon as he ate, he was like, whose apple was that? Yo, I need to go find whose apple. Because it was the stream, the river is coming, the stream. So he started moving towards against the direction of the river, moving. Each garden that he saw that is apple, he was going inside. Is this the apple from your garden? They were looking, no, we don't have this apple. Anyhow, he got to the garden and the apple belongs to that, the type of, the version of the apple, the type of the apple, the color, if they knew that. So got to the garden, said, is this the apple from your garden? He says, yes. He said, please forgive me, I need your satisfaction. I got a bite from it. The owner says, I'm not going to satisfy you. But one apple, I'm not. Why? I have a condition. What is the condition? He said, if you already ate this, yes. If I want me to forgive you, you need to do something. It's a condition. What is it? I have a daughter. You need to marry my daughter. Excuse me? Just for one apple? Yes. That's how he's thinking. He was not married at that time. Thinking, what should I do? He's young. When he's not married, he's young. Like he's not old. But look how much he's adamant about doing halal and not haram. He's thinking that, what am I supposed to do? He said, oh, who's your daughter? But what is about your daughter? He said, my daughter, she's blind, she's disabled, she cannot walk, she's sick, she have these conditions, you need to marry. Ya Allah, astaghfirullah. Now what am I supposed to do? Because of one apple, one bite, not the whole apple, one bite from this, or few bites from this apple. But it says, if he doesn't forgive me, it's going to be haram, mal haram in my stomach. No, I'm not going to do it. It's a battle for Muqaddas Ardebili. Should I accept it or not? Finally, the Iman wins and said, yes, okay, whatever. You need to forgive me. You need to make it halal for me that I ate your money or your apple without your permission. SubhanAllah, to that level. The daughter is like this. At that time, the tradition was that getting married was not like hanging out together before seeing each other. Or they couldn't see each other, husband and wife, until after the wedding. Until after the wedding. Arranged marriage at that time was like this. If you ask your grandparents, they will tell you what was it. After the wedding, they could see each other, husband and wife. Before, astaghfirullah, no. Anyhow, he couldn't see the. He said, okay, so whatever, I have to. He got accepted. He said, okay, so they got married. And then after the marriage, the first night, he's going to the hijla, he's going to the room to see the wife. Ya Allah. Now she's blind, she's crying. He went inside. It's tough, it's difficult. Like he's young, first marriage. He went inside, but he did the deal with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He did inside, he went inside. He pulled out the tool or the cover from the face of the aruz, from the face of the bride to see her, this blind. He saw a beautiful, amazing, healthy, nice wife. SubhanAllah, I thought this. Anyhow, the father said, I had to test you to see how much if you are so great to follow the rules of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that you accepted this tough condition, I am sure you're going to be so loyal to my daughter. I wanted to test you. My daughter is one of the most beautiful girls in the whole city. I wanted to make sure you are the right person. And he's surprised. SubhanAllah. The reason I said this is to this extent, to this level, our ulama, our scholars, this right people, they were observing the situation and making sure, they don't say anything that, or don't do anything against what they're supposed to do and what. So that shows, that's why they become, muqaddas, they reach that level to this extent. So it's important to keep in mind. Anyhow. And then if I say something, imagine this is haqqun nas, this is rights of others. I need to go ask for forgiveness in any condition. And that doesn't matter who he is. Outside strangers, friends, wife, husband, children, parents, doesn't matter. People, haqqun nas, the rights of others, we have to observe it. Anyhow, I'm going to, inshallah, conclude shortly. Few things I want to mention that you mentioned, you try to think about it that I have a client actually that a few days ago I was talking to them from another state. He said that, I get angry all the time. I said something that I regret only with my wife. And the wife was there. She said, yes, he's right. Only with me, with no one else. He's very respectful and nice to others, to children, to others, very, very nice. Only with me, he can't control his anger. And he said, yes, only with my wife. Or the words he uses breaks my heart. With others, he's very careful. If that's the case, that you have this tendency towards one person or few people, or group of people, usually it's within the family. Usually is husband or wife, or children, parents. Why? Because we feel less formality. With others, we're very careful because others are going to judge us in the community, in the center, in the society. At work, they're going to kick me out, so I have to be careful. With the police officers, I have to be very respectful because it's going to go against me in the court. Anyhow, but usually, unfortunately, is with the loved ones, which is opposite. I told them, he said, I am very respectful with the people in the center. He said, people are the centers are more important, or your wife? This is to see the good, positive side of you. This is my wife. Our loved ones, hadiths are saying the same thing. Our loved ones deserve to see the positive side of us more than anyone else. So, for example, it's wrong, but I'm going to say it, for example, this way. If you're going to choose between be nice to others or your family, be nice to your family. It's wrong, but I'm saying it to show the importance. We should be nice to everyone. Even if I have to pick others, no. Some people, they give light and the warmth to strangers, but when it comes to the loved ones, they're cold, and difficulties are for the loved ones, right? Anyhow, so what we have to do is that recognize why you are always doing this with this specific person. Is there any specific reason that you always, have? It might be some hidden anger. It might be some feelings. It might be some emotions inside. You need to work on it. You need to talk to that person. Maybe he or she did something that made you upset. You need to communicate. You need to sort it out. Don't move forward like that. Communicate. If you need help, counselors, professionals help you to have meetings with them, sit down, talk about this. This is important. The other advice I'll give, and inshallah I'll finish with this, is that make sure you understand your shortcomings. When, where, how you make these mistakes. Not just with who. When, where, how. In what condition, in what situation. In what kind, what is the version, what is the style that you might make a mistake? In what version, what style you make these mistakes? This is important. Recognize, even write it down, jot it down for yourself. Write it down for yourself so you know that these are the areas, this is the way that I usually make these mistakes. In this way, I can control my tongue. In this way, I say something that I regret. I did before, and this would, inshallah, help to think about it and have more control over it. Believe me, tonight is the last majlis of the Ayyam Aza of 2 months of Muharram and Safar of this year. It's important for us, inshallah, to think about it, to end with the Shahadat of Imam Hassan Askari. And from Monday is the Aghaz of the Viladat of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, Imamat of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. It's a special, important day. But when we think about it, is that if we follow all these things we talked with each other in these nights, in these weeks, and may Allah bless you, you were with me, listening, inshallah, practicing this together, the whole aspects, when you think about it, if we can have that much control over ourselves. Imagine someone, we talk about all these nights, control emotions, control angers, be more patient, control tongue, all these things, right? You just think about someone like this with these characteristics. You love this person. You want to spend all time with this person. Imagine you should become that person that you have in your mind. No excuse, others are like this, others make me upset. No excuse. You want role models? Ahlul Bayt. You want role models? Good companions of Ahlul Bayt. You want role models? Imam Hassan Askari. This is all about the majalis. The reason we could talk about all these things, psychological, Islamic points together, is about what? Is about the excuse we had for the sake of majalis of Ahlul Bayt, sitting together, learning all this knowledge. The reason majalis of Ahlul Bayt are so powerful and alive after 1,000 years is about what? Is about the benefits people get from this majalis. So this is important for us to pay attention to this. It's important for us to keep this light on, be active in this path, never promise, never do anything against this path and the path of Quran, inshallah. Sallallahu alaykum, ya Ahl Bayt al-Nabuwwah. Our salam to you all, the household, the family of Rasulullah. Those who Rasulullah ordered, recommended, talked, asked people, mawaddatan fil ghurba, wa as'alukum alayhi ajran. To be nice to you, to respect you, to be kind to you, to observe your rights and haqq. But the community of Muslims at that time, they were against the orders and recommendation of Rasulullah. They were against the Ahlul Bayt because of money, because of power, because of position, right after the demise of Rasulullah. Not only one Imam, 2 Imam, 2nd Imam, 3rd, no, all the way to 11th Imam, 11th from the generation of Rasulullah. They hurt, they killed, they made them shaheed. Until the moment that Allah says, enough is enough. The last one, Baghiyatullah, I will save him for the time that people would know the position and take advantage of the wujud and the existence of the Imam as Imam of the time, Imam Ma'soom and infallible. They did whatever they could. Amir al-Mu'mineen, to Imam Hassan. 2 months we talk about what they did to Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, to all Ahlul Bayt. And then Imam Hassan Askari, only 6 years he was Imam, 6 years. 28, 29 years, so young, made him shaheed. Why? At this age, if Imam could be alive and benefit and enlighten the communities and society, how much more we could have, we knew. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. How much they hurt, they tortured, they imprisoned Imam Askari alayhi salatu wasalam. Only he had, this little son, Imam Mahdi alayhi salatu wasalam. It is difficult for a father in that tough situation to leave his son, who is the Imam, who are looking to hurt him, to kill him, among these wolves, among these savage, barbaric people of Bani Abbas. It's tough, but La Yawm Ka Yawmaka Ya Abu Abdullah. There's no day like the day of Karbala, the day of Ashura in Karbala. When Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam, he lost his brother Abu al-Fadl Abbas. He lost his son Ali Akbar. They made shaheed who? Ali Askar. Everyone around him, his companion, all the Shahadat in front of Hussein ibn Ali. Ya Allah, this is what did happen, and the reason happened. Let me finish the Majlis Azza with the zikr of Azza and Musibat of Zahra Salamullahi alayha. The reason that happened, all this masa'ib, all these tragedies, because the Musibat of the house of Zahra Salamullahi alayha, because of the day of Saghifah, because they put Zahra between the door and the wall, because they made Zahra Shaheedah, the daughter of Rasulullah, because they disrespected Zahra at that time. They put chain around the neck around the arm of Ali and pull him towards Masjid for allegiance. That's why they got the power, and they were dare enough to make the sons of Zahra shaheed in different ways. Assalamu alaikum ya ahla bayt an-nubuwwah wa mawdi' ar-risalah ومختلف الملائكة ومهبة الواه ومعدن الرحمة وخزان العلم ومنتهى الحلم وأصول الكرم وقادة الأمم وأهل بيت رسول رب العالمين. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر الأهد مني لزيارتكم. Is the last salam of this time together. With tawajjuh, close your eyes, go to Bainul Haramain. Bismillah. Assalamu ala al-Husayn وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. One more time, last salam. Ya Hussein, we thank you for this opportunity. 2 months we said salam to you and your children and your companion. Assalamu ala al-Husayn wa ala Ali ibn al-Husayn وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج والعافية والناس، مد في عمره الشريف، وزين الأرض بطول بقائه، واجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره وشيعته. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, ثبت قلوبنا على دينك بحق الحسين. Ya Allah, accept all these qalil tawassulat and majalis from all of us. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Rahim, send and hasten in the dhuhr of our Imam Mahdi. Ya Allah, make the heart of Imam Mahdi happy tonight, the night of this shahadat of his father, by the khabar and the news of the zuhur of Abu Imam, inshallah. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, let us and our generation always be strong in the path of our Imam and Quran. Those who have hajat and requests, my brothers and sisters, give them khair hajat. Those who are sick, cure them, and those who passed away, send the thawab and reward from our gathering with the soul, inshaAllah. Rahimallah man yaqra al-fatihata ma salawat. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
صلى على محمد وآل محمد. أبد والله ما ننسى مصابك يا حسين. أبد والله ما ننسى مصابك يا حسين. أبد والله ما ننسى مصابك يا حسين. خدمة ذلة وبس لك تحلى الخدامة، والله ضقنا بخدمتك طعم الكرامة. يا شيخ الفخر وأهل الشهامة، نبض قلوبنا اسمك شعاره. أبد والله ما ننسى مصابك يا حسين. أبد والله ما ننسى مصابك يا حسين. إيش ما يصير بخادمك ما يعوف عشقه، يجيب من حلق السبع يا حسين حقه. يحبك ما يطخ راسه ويدنقه، الحسيني للمجد صاير مناره. أبد والله ما ننسى مصابك يا حسين. أبد والله ما ننسى مصابك يا حسين. كل نبي بتربيتك يعفر جبينه، أنت مصباح الهدى وبيك اهتدينا. للنجاة محبتك صارت سفينة، ليعوفك سيدي عمره خسارة. أبد والله ما ننسى مصابك يا حسين. أبد والله ما ننسى مصابك يا حسين. دمعة مو ذلة بحاضرتك ثورة هاية، بيها معنى وبيها حكمة وبيها غاية. الفرات الماضي قد يا حسين مايا، دليلك صار شاهد انكساره. أبد والله ما ننسى مصابك يا حسين. أبد والله ما ننسى مصابك يا حسين. كل أرض كربلاء هذا شعاري، كل يوم عاشورا ما تطفى ناري. أسير مصيبتك ليلي ونهاري، ليحبك ما طفت يا حسين نارا. أبد والله ما ننسى مصابك يا حسين. أبد والله ما ننسى مصابك يا حسين. صلت على جروحك عيون القصيدة، كل من يريد الخلود انت نشيده. عمر ما بي خدمتك ما نريده، يا سلطان القلب اسمع قراره. أبد والله ما ننسى مصابك يا حسين. أبد والله ما ننسى مصابك يا حسين. صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. زيارة. صلى الله وسلم عليك يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا حبيب الله. السلام عليك يا خير خلق الله. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين وصي رسول رب العالمين. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدتي وسيدة نساء العالمين. السلام على الحسن المجتبى. السلام على الحسين الشهيد. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأئمة من ولدك علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الحجة القائم المهدي. السلام عليك يا مولاي يا صاحب الزمان. الأمان 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 يا مولاي يا صاحب الزمان. سيدي عجل الله فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك، وجعلنا الله من أتباعك وأعوانك والمستشهدين بين يديك وتحت لوائك. صلى الله وسلم عليكم جميعا سادتي ورحمة الله وبركاته. صلى الله على محمد وآل محمد. صلى الله عليه وسلم.